Game time.
So, you, want to take this back to my place? Oh, are we already there? Well, didn't even notice.
This is our Valentine's Day special. So, I know it isn't Valentine's Day, but look, it's been a weird year and a half. Time is lost all meaning. So instead of us acknowledging that this special is late for both Valentine's Day 2020 and 2021, let's just pretend it's Valentine's Day 2020 and 2021 combined, and take a look at the very real game on Steam, I Love You, Colonel Sanders, a finger-licking good dating simulator. Yes, this isn't some meme you've seen online, this game is 100% legit, and was released by KFC for free on Steam on September 24th, 2019. Now if you're wondering why, well, KFC released an interesting new meal at the time, but I'll talk about that a bit later. Initially, I thought that the company saw over-the-top parody dating sims and went, we could do that, and then did just that. Don't get me wrong, that is what this game is, but I had no idea why else they would make this. The game was developed by Psyop, which is both a funny and creepy name for a company that's working on a game that is basically an ad campaign. Something else that's odd, the only other game they have under their belt is a 2016 VR game called Kismet, which is a virtual fortune-telling machine. No, really. So is this game just one big marketing campaign with no substance at all? Kinda, yeah. But let's talk about that plot. Some of that finger-licking substance. Oh, I just said that sentence. The game stars you! You're headed to your first day at an elite culinary school with your best friend, Miriam, and your two anime rivals, Tweedle Tsundere and Tweedle Himbo. And that's when you meet him. No, not him. Or him. Or him. No, the Colonel. You're going to end up falling in love with more than his 11 herbs and spices. All the while trying to win a cooking competition and not get sabotaged by these two dolts. Either way, the question we need to be asking ourselves is this a good dating sim? And the answer is no, it's not. The problem is that the story is rather straightforward. There are ways to lose the game, yes, but none of what you do can cause the story to branch off. There's only one road they want you to take, and you can tell because of the fact that there aren't multiple save slots. For anyone unfamiliar with dating sims, and I'm no expert by any means, but dating sims usually involve multiple people who can be romanced, and many different ways you can go about it. Your choices affect how the story progresses, and you are usually a somewhat silent protagonist. All of this is why you'd want multiple save slots and would worry about what you say to who. This game has no problem giving you dialogue and then have one quote-unquote choice to appear for comedy's sake, but add nothing overall. Speaking of the comedy, I think it's really funny. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree, but I think the dialogue and how they tackle anime tropes is really funny. My issue is that it seemed to be a parody of anime instead of dating sims. Maybe I'm the one that's missing something here, as I'm more of a fan of anime than dating sims, but this just seemed to poke fun at anime high school tropes. It seemed to be a more over-the-top Food Wars for anyone who's familiar with that. I'm not saying not to play the game, but you do need to be prepared for a rather short game that isn't a good dating sim, but rather an interactive storybook made to promote a corporation and reinvent Colonel Sanders' image. It reminds me of how Burger King reinvented the King in the 2000s and even released games on him as well. And now we can talk about the new item on the menu that this game was also meant to promote. Mac and cheese bowls. Mac and cheese bowls. It has since been discontinued. This actually frustrates me because the bowl had mac and cheese, popcorn chicken, and 3 cheeses. Why would you do this, KFC? I don't order from KFC often, but this? I was going to tell you all that I was getting it to do a review for this video, but that would be a lie. I would be getting it because I need a minute alone. So instead, I got their KFC Famous Bowl. Yeah, it has mashed potatoes, sweet corn, and chicken topped with the 3 cheeses. But they put gravy on it. Fuck that. Hate gravy. Yeah, sure, I ate the whole thing, but I will only be doing that 3 more times before never ordering it again. But back to the game. The game clocks in at around an hour, and even with deaths, you can speed up the game if you like. The game autosaves, but doesn't really tell you when. So you don't know when a chapter, known as bytes, ends and another begins. You can go back to a previous byte if you want, if you're interested in seeing how many ways this game can kill you. Now, I know the game is free, but I have to talk to you about a few issues. The first is the fact that your professor, a dog named Sprinkles, don't ask, actually has an apron that blends into the background. Initially, I actually thought that somehow it was green screened out, but when actually zooming in, you can see that it is there, but it's a dark blue that just blends into most backgrounds. Just a weird art choice that really threw me off throughout the game. Another problem is that when transitioning from scene to scene, you will have some weird graphical issues. But the biggest issue is the font. Specifically, the color. When it's on a filled-in text box, it actually looks really good, and it's very readable. But when it's on a transparent background, which usually it is throughout the game, you can barely read it. And I have no idea why they did this. Sure, it's nice to see what's behind the text box, but maybe just don't do that? And sadly, I can't change this in the settings. Again, it doesn't happen all the time, but it can definitely be an issue. All in all, I'd say to get it and try it for a bit. If the humor's not for you, then at least it was free. But that doesn't mean this game couldn't have been better. I'll give this game 1.5 out of 5 mac and cheese bowls.
Matt? Should I even ask? You know what? I am just going to leave.